Good morning. This is Ashley Smith. I'm making my screencast to walk you through my project falling on a budget. So here we go. So if we click on falling on a budget, it brings you to my page. And as you look, you can see that it starts with the introduction. And that just gives the students a little background on the expectations from me, how to use Canvas, and then how to use Google. For most kids, Canvas is going to be new, so that's very important. But Google, they should have previous experience. And then the expectations kind of just goes over where the course will take place, where they can work on it, how they can ask questions, and then the one thing that we talked about as a group, showing their work online, and how that could be difficult, especially since they have to be able to do the work on a piece of paper. So that's just the beginning, and then from there it's laid out by days, so day 1 to day 20, and I added an extra day last minute just because for kids this might be a little bit difficult, so I figured it might give them a little extra time. And I mean, of course, if they finish early, they're more than welcome to turn it in, but I'd rather have them have too much time than not enough. But to start each day, this is just an introduction to our PBL, and that'll be the very first day, because I remember you all telling me that it needed to start in the beginning to have them something to use for their background knowledge. So I give them a little introduction of what exactly a PBL is. Some of them have done it before, some of them have not, but it kind of just helps them understand what to expect. And then this is my entry event that I'm going to use, and it's my edited video to kind of grasp their attention and kind of get them wondering on what could they do with a $20 budget. And then I have the driving question already formed for them. Their needs to know is something that we're going to create as a class. So if you click the need to know questions, it pops up and the students will be adding it. That way everyone kind of has a list to fall back on in case they get stuck. And then the requirements that I need just so they have some sort of structure. How they're going to present their ideas, reflect and revise, and then their final product. And then as a way to get them started on their PBL project in the very beginning, I'm having them create their Poplet to brainstorm ideas, and that way throughout the lessons that are teaching them the skills for adding and subtracting decimals, they are thinking about, oh, how am I going to use this to work on my project, or how does this relate to my project, or what resources am I thinking of while I'm doing this. And I thought that that would be just a good way to get them thinking about their PBL project while they're building their background knowledge. And as we go on to each day, it has the content pages, information on how to do that, and then an assignment. So the assignments range from making their own word problem, to making their own budget, to exit tickets, estimations, just plain practice. There is an assessment day, and that's just because for my school we have to have that form of pencil and paper assessment. But after the assessment, we then revisit our PBL project. So it again goes back onto what is a PBL project, what it has the information about our PBL project. They're going to submit their Poplet, and then they're also going to create a pacing guide for them. So that will be used to help keep themselves on track since it's their work. And then they're going to be working on their PBL project during class, and then they have 2 days, day 13 and 16, that are going to be peer reviews. So Canvas is going to automatically assign students to review each other's work, and then that way they can get feedback and learn from each other. And I thought that was kind of cool, because sometimes you think, oh, it's great, but then when you hear it from somebody else's point of view, or you hear somebody else's opinions or ideas, suggestions. It's like very helpful. So I wanted to make sure that that was in there. And I also think that's a great life skill, especially for fifth graders who are going into sixth grade, to be able to like accept constructive criticism and feedback and learn and move from it. Um, and so they have a couple days to do that, about 10 days. And then for the sharing of the PBL project, which is our last day of the unit, they're going to create a voice thread. And that was my first time using it, so I kind of explored it myself. But they're going to answer some questions about it, kind of like we are right now, except this is a screencast. Just to give like a brief synopsis. What did they like, not like? What was easy, hard? What were some like tips and tricks they learned along the way? And then if they could do it again, what was something that they would change? And I always think reflecting back is good because it helps you learn. And again, there's tutorials on how to use VoiceThread, and then they will submit their VoiceThread on the PBL sharing page. And some strengths that I think this project has is I think that it relates to real life. It's a skill that a lot of people need in order to be successful in life, because you have to manage your money or else it can drown you, you know. They also may have background knowledge before, going to the store with their parents, getting allowances and stuff like that. So I think it's good to have it relate back. I also think my course is easy to follow. It's predictable. There's lots of images and videos, and with Canvas there's a lot of white space, but I feel confident that I did a good job of making sure that the images were appropriate, the videos were appropriate and helpful, and it wasn't just like excess color. I also think it's helpful that the skills were taught prior and that students will be able to ask questions either online to a classmate or in class, since this will be taking place in the classroom on a computer. And some challenges of this project are if the skills are weak in the very beginning when we're getting the background knowledge, they might have some issues budgeting their money or like adding them together or subtracting them from the correct amount, because that's a concept that might be a little challenging for them. But that's when I can intervene and pull small groups or work with them one-on-one to help them, or maybe even if one student's ahead, I could partner them up with another student to make sure that they're getting the help that they need. And some of them might not know where to start, but sometimes that's kind of the fun part of it, because you're like stuck and then you have this brilliant idea and you just run with it. Another challenge is students do have access to computers at home or at school. We have a one-to-one initiative, so they'll have access to them there, but in order for them to work on them at home, they need to have access, and not a lot of students have it. So that's why I kind of built in that extra day to give them more time, since in other schools they might have the time to do it at home also, but these kids won't. And we'll just have to make sure that basic computer skills, my dog's at the door, basic computer skills are built in and they know how to navigate throughout the computer, which they should know, but some of them might be new or new speakers. So that's one thing that I'll have to look on. But that's my project, and thank you for everything this summer, and I appreciate it. Thank you.